Little video for you for the weekend coming out of this eclipse week. We're still in the eclipse realm. I think we will be for the next 6 months. Earlier today on Friday, October 4th, the moon went into Scorpio. So we're digging this because we're moving away from that moon in Libra situation and eclipse, but still we're getting into eventually the crescent phase of the moon, where it will start to be able to see it in the sky. But I welcome this moon in Scorpio. I know many of you who might have some weird connection or not the best connection you think in Scorpio. You might actually like this one because of what the Libra situation and the eclipse and the purging and the ending stories that are happening, the difficulties for Libras and even Aries people. And I've heard the stories this week already, and they will continue. So the moon going into Scorpio goes inward, is protective in its own right, but definitely feels things deeply. And a lot of the times that cannot be put into words. Now, what has been happening slowly the last 24 hours is Venus in Scorpio, directly tied into the eclipse in Libra, because Libra is ruled by Venus, so it's Venus in Scorpio. Venus will perfect a harmonious trine with Saturn and Pisces later today. That happens at, it's already happened, 10:03 a.m. Pacific, and that is lingering. And then at some point here, the moon in the weekend is going to connect with Venus and also trine Saturn. We got a little bit of help basically coming out of the eclipse, and it's from the emotional water realm. And this is where we get to process what has happened from the eclipse realm earlier this week, and we get to sit with it and go deep with it and pinpoint some of these things. Now, in the middle of all this weekend is Mercury itself. Tomorrow on Saturday, October 5th, 11:36 p.m. That's going into October 6th. Mercury in Libra will make a square to Mars in Cancer. And here is the next big chapter in this eclipse story and in the Mars in Cancer retrograde story that will go on here for a while into next spring. This is a guidepost. It might not feel like a guidepost. It might feel like a wall you run into verbally in conversations. Things come up. Will the intensity emotionally inside bubble up here Saturday into Sunday with Mercury and Libra wanting to negotiate and have, in a sense, try to have like non-caustic conversations, but Mars in Cancer in a water sign brings it up emotionally, and that Scorpio moon with Venus can be intense, and then there could be some intense truth that comes across. From a feel-good perspective, if you can find this, I think getting into one's feeling realm from the Scorpio end of your chart to the Piscean realm is where the solutions may lie. That the Mercury in Libra will have a tendency to gloss over, for some of my viewers who did the keywords on my live stream today, gloss over things and the negotiation. But what we want is truth, and we want the raw truth emotionally. So with the Mercury squaring Mars into the weekend, you just might get it, and it might not be the way Libra wants it. They might have to hear more Mars in the world, and you can't avoid that. As I said on my live stream earlier this week, you got to learn to do some Mars or have Mars reflected back towards you. So that goes on. I will say though, we want to use the moon in Scorpio and its conjunction to Venus and its relationship to Saturn and Pisces, the watery realm, to help you through the weekend. When we get to Sunday the 6th, eventually moon goes into Sag, and that's a release, that's for sure, coming out of the depth of the Scorpio realm. But even before that happens, the moon in Scorpio is going to connect with Neptune in a harmonious trine. It's going to be opposite Uranus and Taurus. It's not a boring weekend, but if you can focus and swim through the emotions that are coming out of this eclipse week, you may be able to find a resting place. And if the conversations do come up, You'll put words to those emotions, even if it's not perfect or completely feel good, as long as it's the truth. I suggest if you're solo that you kind of work this out. You can do writing exercises. You could talk to yourself. I do that all the time. When I'm on long drives, I'm just talking, singing to myself, just fleshing it out, whatever it takes. Okay, so that's my little thing for you. I think next week I might do another stream again for the weekly because on October 8th, we got a plethora of transits happening Monday into Tuesday. We got Venus trine Mars. So you could see what's happening here. We're building up in one interesting way. And this is kind of a secret thing. I guess I could say this. It's not perfect, but the moon going into Scorpio and then touching Venus in Scorpio, right? And then there's the Saturn, right, in Pisces. And then there's the Mars in Cancer. There's a background grand water trine that sneaks around this weekend. So basically, the three water signs of Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, the moon is going to go into Scorpio, and it's going to try along the way connect with these other water planets. That is why I won't say it's the solution to everything place, but it is the place of comfort and the place of swimming emotional waters, whatever they are, and feeling safe in that place. And the different type of language and communication that happens within oneself and connection to the world or with other people. And if you can find that place, maybe it's metaphorically a relaxing bath, right? Or it's a warm soup or stew that comforts you, or it's a type of containers for water to be in that don't feel hard and don't feel brutal, right? And so we need these places to get out of our heads, especially the Libra political relational game that happens, that is definitely going through a purging process with this eclipse. Whether you like it or not, we go into the watery realms, and that's what's sneaking around here this weekend. And if you can surf that place, when we get into early next week, we have a beautiful Venus and Scorpio connecting, a trine aspect, harmonious aspect with Mars and Cancer. So we're going to take that when it comes, but we can actually start that process through this weekend. The tough part is the communication thing. So anyway, I'll do a thing next week, some point. Maybe I'll do another video like this when I'm running around on my travels. Again, I want to say thanks to everybody who supports the channel. Please subscribe if you've never been here. Check out my other videos. I somehow left my Virgo special up. Maybe I'll take that down later tonight. And you Libra and Aries people out there, if you're feeling it and you're in a space, get a hold of me. Book a session. I have some slots in the next couple weeks before I disappear for a week and do something interesting. So on that note, have a good weekend, everybody, and I'll see you on the next video.